Okay, everybody. Hello, I am Victoria, and I am going to go over how lens neurofeedback is a medication free, rapid approach to improve ADHD and executive functionings. And before I jump into the meat, I am going to tell you a little bit about who I am, about the group practice that I own, and then I'm going to talk about how lens neurofeedback improves your ADHD, what it looks like to get sessions, how long sessions are, and just the improvement that clients have experienced. So let's get started. So again, I am Victoria Valdez. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I am the founder and owner and clinical operational director of Tri-Synergy Counseling, which is located in Brentwood, Tennessee. And as a mental health counselor, I specialize in providing therapy to children, teens, parents, and adult women. And I specialize or have specialized training with anxiety, depression, trauma, ADHD, and grief support. I'm a parent coach, a wellness educator, a lens neurofeedback provider. I am also the lead or the leader of the Spanish speaking therapist group for the state of Tennessee. I'm a mom of 3 myself. I am a wife, a Latin dancer, poetry writer, lover of creating expressive arts, um, doing outdoors like camping, kayaking, being with friends and family, and really just doing anything that involves having a good time, having fun, right? So that's a little bit about me. I am also neurodivergent, and 2 of my out of my 3 children are. So I do have ADHD, and lens has been truly life changing for me and my family, as well as my clients. But about Trice Energy Counseling is that we are a group practice that is located in Brentwood, Tennessee. We have several therapists who provide counseling services to children, teens, adults, and couples. We provide counseling intensives, which are really amazing because that takes, it's different than the traditional format of therapy, which is 1 time a week, 45 minutes. Well, an intensive is 3 hours up to several days where you're going laser focus into working through a trauma trigger or confidence issues so that you have an accelerated healing process. Pretty awesome. We also offer parenting services, immigration evals. There are 2 lens providers, me and 1 other. Then we have wellness services that are one service that we provide are free mental health and wellness webinars to the community. We also have intensives that are for wellness purposes that are different than counseling. And we also do support groups as well. All right, let's get in there and jump in the meat. So you want to know about lens and ADHD, right? What does it do? How does it help? So you're not alone because there are 15 million adults in the United States who have ADHD diagnosis. So you're definitely not alone. This is from the CDC. Now imagine all of the people who have not been diagnosed because they didn't realize that they have it. We know that 7 million children ages 3 to 17 have been diagnosed with ADHD, and this is as up to date as last year, which is 2024. So this is our current stats. That's a lot of children with ADHD, and imagine the ones that haven't been diagnosed yet. We know that 50% of the time that if a child has been diagnosed with ADHD, then one of the parents also has it as well. I actually didn't realize that I had ADHD until my oldest was diagnosed, and I was like, oh my gosh, those symptoms align with mine. So I was like, oh. So did you know, here we're going to jump in. Did you know that healthy brainwaves are a vital key to your mental health, your wellness, and ADHD improvement? So obviously, I cannot say that brain waves are the only most important thing that contributing to our mental wellness, but it is a huge component, and you're about to learn why. So the cool thing is, I love this little video so much. Our brain is a powerhouse of electrical activity. So this little video, like as I'm talking, as you're listening, our neurons are firing and wiring together through electrical impulses. So it is evidence that our brain is firing and wiring and making connections. And so every thought and feeling and every action is fueled by brainwaves. It's synchronized electrical impulses that guide your brain's communication system. And so if these brain waves are either deficient And what I mean by that is either they're underworking or overworking, or underfunctioning or overfunctioning, or difficult to have access to, then that's how we know that our mental performance is suffering. It's not doing so well. The cool thing is there's been well over 100 years of research on brainwaves, so we have a pretty good idea of how many we have, how they work, and their functioning. We have so much data from observation of recording brainwaves that can compare someone who doesn't have anxiety, their brainwave functionings, with someone who does. We can see the distinctive patterns. Someone who has ADHD with someone who does not. We can see the absolute distinctive patterns on how brainwaves are working for people who do not have ADHD and how they are working with someone who does. So that's how we know that we can stimulate them and reset them and help their functioning. So, LENS neurofeedback stands for low energy neurofeed system. It's a specific kind of electroencephalogram, EEG, that works more rapidly than traditional neurofeedback. It gives the brain multiple different low energy radio wave frequencies for a few seconds. And so that signal sent to your brain stimulates it and alerts it, and it resets your brain to a regular state of functioning, regulating your emotions, regulating your body's nervous system. Super powerful. And the way that our system does that is it actually records our brain waves in real time while you're just sitting there, just relaxing, your eyes are closed, you're just chilling. It records those activity and then mirrors it right back into your brain. And that gives your brain the opportunity to make its own change. It heals itself. It auto corrects itself, which is mind blowing to me. And there are over 50 research articles that we have that demonstrate the effectiveness of neurofeedback in improving ADHD. We hope that throughout the next years of more research will be dedicated into neurofeedback so we can get that stamp of approval that it is considered that it's a viable treatment to improve ADHD. As a therapist, who specializes in working with ADHD, I know that medication works. ADHD medication does work. But how awesome and powerful is it to have something else that isn't a med that can stimulate our brain to help it function much better as well? So I love this so much. All right, so let's get into the meat of how the neurofeedback provides that rapid, long-lasting ADHD improvement. So it's addressing our dysregulated brain activity. So it balances the fast and slow brain waves of beta, which is really fast, and theta, which is slower waves. And it balances them to improve our focus and reduce hyperactivity. It really enhances our frontal lobe functioning, supporting that better executive functioning like planning, impulse control, decision making. And it enhances the brain's ability to self regulate that impulse control, right? So powerful, powerful. It improves attention and organization, and it does that by it removes mental fog. It improves the ability to prioritize and complete tasks. As someone who has ADHD myself, and if you have ADHD or a loved one, you've seen this behavior, right? Where we have a task to do, we don't know where to start, it feels overwhelming, we get paralyzed, and we just don't get through it. Well, you're going to see a change in that. You'll see an improved motivation. It's easier to just make a decision and go with the task and stay with the flow. You're going to see an enhancement of processing speed and cognitive clarity. I struggled with mental math for years. I was just shamed all the time because I would use my fingers to count because it was so hard to hold the numbers in my head. Fast forward all the years later, when I was a client and I was getting my own neurofeedback from LENS, I was like, oh my gosh, I could mental math so good. Even my partner, who's like a math whiz, I was able to compute the mental math much faster in my head than he was. He noticed right away. So that was a pleasant surprise for me. So it really does support academic and professional success and personal success. And it's really going to help you sustain attention during the day. And so you're going to see that improvement of motivation. It's going to boost emotional regulation and emotional resiliency. So it's going to help with that frustration tolerance. It's going to help with emotional outbursts when you think of young children who developmentally are already not able to really regulate, and then throw ADHD in the mix. They're like little tiny ticking time bombs, and they're trying so hard, but their brain is just fighting against them. And so you're going to see them a lot more calm, or see yourself a lot more calm, less reactive, less irritated, able to go with the flow of changes. And so basically, you're just going to be able to engage so much better in your daily life. You're going to see that increased motivation, where you're not going to get that like fatigue, paralyzing, where you're just like, I can't do it anymore, or that overwhelm. You're going to feel like, I can get up there. I got this. So overall, your outcomes is increased ability to retain your strategies. Like if I, as a therapist, the research is there. Medication and lens is powerful. But if you don't have someone there to coach you, like a therapist, or even an ADHD coach to show you the skills that will really improve your systems, or your life, and strategies and systems that are going to improve, you need that too. It really is vital. But you're going to be able, if you're already working with someone and you feel like, oh, I'm not getting better, it may be because your brainwaves are, because of the ADHD imbalance in your brainwaves, hard for you to follow through with the strategies. So you're going to see improvement in these areas. Enhanced self-awareness and problem-solving capabilities. You're going to be able to just handle life so much better in real life situations. So lens really is addressing that neurobiological component from the ADHD, and it provides a really powerful, non-invasive tool, non-medicative, natural component for, rather than the traditional modalities. And it's going to empower you to achieve that better control over your symptoms, and really just be able to live your life so much better, or your kiddo is going to be able to feel so much more confident. So here's a case study. Here, this is a client with a 9-year-old child with ADD, the attention type, meaning they did not have the hyperactive component. And they had difficulties following through on tasks, difficulty with frustration tolerance and emotional regulation, attention and focus issues, working memory issues, confidence issues. After one session, it was easy to follow through with the tasks. It improved working memory, it improved their attention, and improved emotional regulation. Their sleep was so much better. Their confidence rose through the roof. It was such a beautiful thing to witness and hear from the families. And so this child did 40 sessions of lens in order for it to stick. And I'll talk a little bit later about that sticking component. Okay, so what would be the lens neurofeedback experience at Tri-Synergy Counseling? So these photographs that you've been seeing have, like here with the yellow office, is one of our offices where we do lens. So you would come in and you would book after you've talked to us and you decided you wanted to move through, or maybe you didn't want to talk to us because you saw this video and you're like, I'm in. So you would just book your consultation by contacting us, and you would be provided a link to book your consultation time, where you would get a comprehensive brain map. So we would map all 21 sites, and from that we'll get the data, explain to you how your brain is functioning in that visit, and then provide you as a recommended individual wellness plan on recommendation on how many lens sessions you might need approximately, and what that would look for like moving forward with us. And then you also would be provided with our lens wellness guide, which gives you brain and body and coping skills on how to enhance your experience at home. And comes with a brain map for you to kind of track your progress, and ways that you can track your progress. It's a really great tool that you get for free. And then you also get an individualized support guide for either anxiety, depression, or ADHD. Those are the ones that we have on offer. What gives you tools and strategies to help with those, either one of those, whichever one you might be dealing with. And then you also get to choose from one of our package service plan. Yes, you can buy lens services individually, but you get a discount for buying a package. So if you're looking for from savings, getting our package is one of the ways to save. So what does the lens look like, right? What is it? So here you have pictured on the left-hand side, there are some wires, blue, black, white, and green wires, a Neurofit box, and then another bundle of wires that are red, green, black, brown, and blue. The thinner wires, the non-Christmassy wires, that those thin that have little metal sensors, those are our head sensors. And those plug into the neuro box, and the neuro box plugs into our system. And so that is how we're collecting the brainwave data and then mirroring it back into your brain. And then the body sensors are great for children under the age of like 7, because they don't need as typically as much of a dose. And so they need less lens. And so body sensors tend to be really great for that. They're also great for pain management. And we also pair, when we do intensives in person, we will use body lens in an intensive to relax our nervous system so that we can get a deeper level of trauma processing or anxiety processing, whatever we're working on for that intensive. And on the right hand above the child is kind of what you would see as a client, the neurofeedback brain waves, kind of seeing like what it looks like in real time. There are only 2 brain waves there because that is an average of each functioning of the brain waves functioning in channel 1 and channel 2. That picture below is just a cute picture of a cute child in our office as we demoed our placement on a child. This is a 9-year-old child with ADHD. There are 21 sites. This is an example of what a brain map would look like, and then we would be able to tell you in your consultation what the ranges are here. So we can see here T5 all the way down at the bottom is the lowest functioning in this child. So we can see that there is no blue, meaning it is very suppressed area of the brain. We know if we look at FP1 all the way on the far right side and FP2, they are way up too high. And so the lens would bring it back into a better range, and there's not that much blue in comparison to black. And so there's low functioning in that area, or suppression is what we call it. This is a suppression map, and this is a cool way so basically when I said all of those areas are suppressed, we can see that in the suppression map. Over time, you'll see all of those bars turn blue, and that will be a healthy range of functioning. Orange is under functioning, suppressed. Pink is over functioning, it's working too hard, and we want it to turn blue. So if we look at this child here, FP1 on the bar, so this colorful map you get in your wellness work guide when you become a client with us. But if you look at FP1, this is the area of the brain that is for attention, focus, and depression. So that area is severely under functioning for this child. And again, this child came in for ADHD support. So you're going to be able to see, or they were able to see the difference in their level of functioning. So this is how it was able to improve. LP2 is anxiety, impulsivity, and addiction, and restraint and impulse. So that way you can kind of see the areas of the brain that have been mapped and how each area is functioning. Here's another case study. We have a 15-year-old child, ADHD and anxiety, which oftentimes when you have a kiddo with ADHD, specifically if they're not receiving some treatment, you're going to see anxiety and depression because it's hard for them to manage. So this teenager was difficulty following through on tasks, difficulty with frustration tolerance and emotional regulation, attention and focus issue, working memory, confidence issues, severe impulse control issues. They were getting in trouble at school, making poor decisions that was leading to some significant consequences. So high anxiety and irritability. So within one session, just from that one session, the parents reported they were easy to follow through with tasks and improved their memory, improved attention, improved emotional regulation, reduction in anxiety, and improved sleep. and their math went up. So they were not getting in trouble that entire week. They did 40 sessions. Within 3 sessions for the anxiety, they cleared the anxiety completely. 40 sessions for the ADHD in order for it to stick the change. So what have parents and clients reported who have ADHD from Lens? Like within the first 48 hours, we do send out a symptomology list just to see what changes have happened. And we will continue to send those out every time you come into our office to have a session. And this is to make sure that we are matching your body's dose. Everybody's different. For example, I have a certain amount of head sense spots and time that I need to get the desired effects for my ADHD. Each client's going to be unique in that. So they reported feeling overall relaxed, mental clarity, easier thinking clearly, increased motivation, easier to problem solve, improved focus, concentration, or attention, improved relaxed state, increased ability to follow instructions, increased ability to follow through on tasks, reduction in irritability, easy to go with the flow of things and handle unexpected changes, improved memory, less anxious thoughts, improved confidence, improved sleep, able to follow instructions, improve math processing. So really big deal right there. Okay, so everyone asks, well, Victoria, how many sessions do I need? How long did the sessions last? Yada, yada, right? I'll go over that. So one, I want to highlight that I love this resource, attitudemagazine.com, a great, outstanding resource. They do so many webinars on ADHD by world experts. And it's just phenomenal. But something that they reported is that over 20 to 40 training sessions of neurofeedback works to improve brain functioning. The end goal is an engaged brain and an overall reduction in ADHD symptoms. So they also collect the research on how well neurofeedback does. All right, so when we're looking at children and adolescents, their brains are more flexible, more neuroplasticity. So less sessions are needed typically. On average, depending on the goal, you're looking at maybe 6 sessions, maybe 11, 6 to 11. The younger they are, the less sessions they typically need. Adults, our brains are a little less flexible. And on average, we may need 11 to 20, depending on the goal. Now, here is where the difference is. If you're coming in for a complex issue or a neurological issue, so neurological would be under the umbrella of like autism, ADHD, dementia, then it takes longer for our brain to change and stay. So even though you're getting progress every week, we have what's called like a rebound. Your brain wants to snap back and keep homeostasis. It wants to stay the same because our neurological activity, our neurological connections, our synaptic connections have this pathway that has been cut in a certain way. And so we're now recutting and reforming, remaking new neurological connections. So it takes time for it to stay when you have a neurological issue. It's the same for a complex issue such as complex trauma or PTSD, CPTSD, OCD. You're going to need more sessions. Now, and sessions could be 40 to 100, but it really depends. And so remember, the lens isn't curing autism or curing ADHD, but it's really highly improving the functionality of that person's life, and that is everything. So what's your wellness investment, right? So how much does it cost? So your investment is a brain map is $250, 60 minutes, full brain map, includes your 2 wellness guides, one for the lens and one for your focused area of treatment if it is anxiety, depression, or ADHD. And then our weekly sessions are $100 for 25 minutes. Again, if the best value is getting a package, we recommend 6 to start out with, to get 6 consecutive, not 6 like one month and then another month goes by and you do one more. It's got to be back to back so that your brain doesn't have that bounce back very quickly, right? Consistency is everything. This goes the same with a mindfulness program or medication, right? You take your med one time a week versus every day. Same thing with Lens, right? So we do offer sliding scale options, those discounted packages, family member discounts, and referral discounts. So you can reach out to us, and definitely during the intake, we can talk more about those. The other thing is we do like specials throughout the year. If you're watching this video right now, it is January of 2025, and we're running a New Year's special for $49 for a brain map and almost up to 50% reduction or discount on packages. So right now, it's really is a steal, like a very good value. And so we'll, do another sales later this year. But right now would be a great time to do that. So you can come back and look at our website and look at when the next sale would be if you missed this one. We do start weekly, like I said, and then we move to bi-weekly, to one time a month, to see you later. A lot of parents will hit it hard in the summer for kiddos because they're not in school. We might see them, they might get a package of 20 or more, or buy 2 packages of 40, and we are seeing them 3 times a week. To really get that change to stick right in before August. So there's that. And then, so I am really thankful that you took time to check out our webinar. I hope to service your family and be able to get you guys on the best functioning possible so you guys can live your best life, right? Before I leave, I'm going to leave you with this review. This is from a client. And they said, I began seeing Victoria for Lens Neurofeedback about a month ago. I was honestly skeptical of the treatment because it sounded too good to be true. However, in 1 month, I made leaps and bounds in areas of my life that had been a struggle for quite some time. I am less anxious. My depression isn't nearly as prominent as it's been for years. I'm able to focus and think clearly through tasks, even if there's distractions. I feel more motivated to take on the day, each day. I feel my comprehension on things is much better. My memory has been significantly better. I'm remembering things from years ago that I had forgotten. I've noticed a great decrease in my OCD habits, which I didn't even realize was a problem until I didn't feel the need to have to do things in such a specific order. Both my husband and my 10-year-old son have mentioned to me without my prompting that I seem happier, less stressed, and less cranky. I've been recommending this treatment to everyone around me. I truly feel this is a miracle treatment, and Victoria is wonderful and so personable, making the experience that much better. So thank you again. I hope to service your family soon.